Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 1219, 1219. Good morning. Happy Sunday. It's not really getaway day. It's kind of getaway day. Today will be the last Hobby Evolution until July 15th. So heading to Switzerland tomorrow morning. I finally started packing last night. Got home from the Cubs game, and it's like, well, I did some shipping, and then I need to get some packing started. So almost done. I had to do a quick load of laundry last night, so I will finish up the clothes portion. My wife's like, "Do you have long sleeve shirts?" Because it's gonna be kind of cold in Switzerland. Like it's gonna be hot here. Switzerland, not. Switzerland's like Northern California, where you think it's hot all the time and it's actually kind of cool. So let's how do you search there we go. So let's just look up. I think Lucerne is where we're flying into. It's warmer in Lucerne right now than it is here, just by a few degrees. But let's see. 70, 64, 72, 74, 75, 78, 74 with lows in the 50s. So kind of cool spring-like weather in Switzerland. So I had to get a mix. When we went to Italy, it was pretty easy. It was like shorts, or when I go to Arizona, although this year I flubbed and it was a little cooler than expected. Had to buy a hoodie, had to buy a long sleeve shirt. I didn't bring any pants with me. So this trip is a mix: long sleeves, shorts, pants, even a jacket, even a rain jacket. So, it's easy. Like when you're going to the beach, it's easy and it's light. Shorts and t-shirts, and throw jeans and hoodies and pants. It's harder. So, and then I'm like, and I brought a couple button downs. She's like, "You're not going to need button downs." I'm like, "Well, it's casual." So it's like, it's not like, I mean, we're not going on like hikes, right? We're going on food tours. So the button down casual is okay. So started my packing. I'm like, I told my wife, I'm like, I'm going to bring a backpack for my carry-on, my iPad to watch movies. I've been downloading. So some movies I downloaded. I downloaded Oppenheimer, and my wife says, "We watched that." And I'm like, "We did?" She's like, "Yeah, you fell asleep like 5 minutes in." I'm like, "Oh, well, we probably started it like after 8. If you start a movie after 8, I'm falling asleep." And I'm like, "I don't remember that." She's like, "Well, that's because you were sleeping." I'm like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "Oh, wait, no, that was the Time Machine or some other movie similar." She's like, "No, we didn't watch Oppenheimer." I'm like, "I didn't think so. It just came out. It just came." She's like, "Where's Oppenheimer?" Like, it's on Amazon Prime. It's the only app that works on my iPad. My iPad is like 10 years old. I only use it when I fly to watch Amazon Prime, download movies from Amazon Prime. So I downloaded Oppenheimer. I downloaded Top Gun Maverick. Downloaded Brewster's Millions. Great movie. So I wanted to have a little bit of everything. I'm into like suspense and thrillers, but when I'm on a plane, it's like I'm not really in the mindset to watch that type of thing. So I want to watch like lighthearted Brewster's Millions. And then Mean Girls is also the new one, is also on Amazon Prime. I think I also downloaded that last night. And so my wife's like, "Oh, I'm gonna download Amazon," because I don't think she had Amazon Prime on her iPad. She's like, "Oh, I'm gonna download some movies on Amazon." And I'm like, "Mean?" And she's like, "Wow, there's a lot of great 80s movies." Because like all the Breakfast Club, all those. And I downloaded something with Rob Lowe, something New Hampshire, which I don't think I've seen that movie. And she's like, "Wow, there's some great movies on here." And I'm like, yeah, the new Mean Girls is on there. And she's like, I'm not watching that. And I'm like, my wife is a huge Mean Girls fan. And she's like, I'm true to the original. I'm like, oh, okay. So, but that's the type of lighthearted that I usually watch. I'll download like scary movies, and it's like, I am not in the mindset to watch a scary movie on an airplane. So plenty of movies downloaded. And then I'm like, I'm going to bring my laptop. And she's like, why? This is vacation. I'm like, well, just in case things come up on eBay, there's a lot of things I can't do. And she's like, this is vacation. I'm like, but I don't have anybody to watch my store. My wife in real estate has a team. Well, actually, she doesn't have a team, but she has other teams that help her out. Like, hey, can you go do this open house? Can you show these clients? My mother-in-law, which was her business to start, she helps out. I don't have that. So I'm like, she's like, well, can't you do that like on your iPad? I'm like, no, because the eBay app sucks. I'm like, it just reverts back. The iPad, the iPhone, if you even go to ebay.com, there's a way, like you can go to the bottom, and it's a pain in the ass. If anybody knows a workaround on this, please let me know. If you go to like the internet Safari, I use Safari on my phone. I know that's probably old man. I don't care. I go to ebay.com. It's like it goes to like the app version even on the website, and you can scroll to the bottom. And it says revert to like the website version. And when you click certain things, and I don't know, maybe it's changed. I just stopped going to ebay.com on my iPhone because it always reverts back. And that you'll click like selling, and it just goes back to the iPad or iPhone version of the eBay app type. So it's a pain in the ass. So I'm going to bring my laptop. Plus, I'm going to download some reports. Like, how nerdy is that? Well, I'm going to download some reports so I can do some work on some spreadsheets on the flight. Like, what's wrong with me? I did buy a book. I had a couple books. I mentioned this the other day. I had a couple books that I've only read like 100 pages. And it's like, if I only read 100 pages, like what makes me think I'm going to finish the book? There's a reason I only got 100 pages in. So I did download in maybe the third try. What the hell's the saying? Third try. I'm drawing a blank. I haven't taken a sip of my mushroom coffee yet. My mind's foggy. Anyway, Malcolm Gladwell, Talking to Strangers. So I tried the audiobook. I cannot listen to audiobooks. I love radio. I love podcasts. I hate audiobooks. My wife is like only audiobooks. I don't like audiobooks. I don't like reading books on my iPad or any other electronic device. I want an old-fashioned book. So I tried Malcolm Gladwell's Don't Talk to Strangers. Talking to Strangers. We do want to talk to strangers, says Malcolm Gladwell. So Talking to Strangers. Tried the audiobook. I got one chapter in. This is terrible. I started reading the book, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember this story. It's the first chapter on the audiobook. And then I think I got to the second chapter and stopped reading. So I think I know the story. I know exactly what happens. It's a woman who was pulled over, and I think there was racism involved, and she ended up committing suicide. That was like the first chapter. Great start to a book. So I'll just skip chapter 1 on the flight. We'll go to chapter 2. And then I did buy a book from Amazon. I love Amazon Prime. Death of the Territories. It's a wrestling book about pro wrestling and Death of the Territories, the old territory system in professional wrestling. So I cracked it the other night, and started reading it, and got a few pages in. So save the rest for the flight. So those are 2 books I'm going to take. And then I think there's a third book I can't remember. The third book was hot coffee. So yesterday was busy day. Did some shipping after the show, and got the last of the 8 medium flat rate boxes that I had to ship. I shipped 15 of those reseller lots from my eBay store this week. And so shipped 8 of them out yesterday, went to the post office, did some shipping. And then I went to the Cubs game. My buddy Ethan Roberts back in the big leagues. He messaged the other night, said, hey, guess who's coming to Chicago? And he and Jorge Lopez got called up. So Ethan joined the team. He was active for Friday night's game in Milwaukee. I couldn't make Friday night work, but I could make Saturday work, and I wouldn't have been able to I can't make today work. So I'm like, well, I'm going to Saturday's game. So I got tickets front row right behind the Cubs bullpen. Traffic was pretty heavy going into Milwaukee yesterday, which it typically is on game day, obviously. But also it's Summerfest in Milwaukee. So we had that double whammy of traffic funneling into Milwaukee on the interstate. So got in, made good time, even with the traffic, got parked. And it was actually, I got there, first pitch was 3:10. I think I got there about 2:30, which was good timing because it's kind of late because people tailgate at Brewers games. And so I'm kind of towards the back of the parking lot, which is good. You don't want to be caught in traffic at the front. And then the bullpen is at Miller Park, now American Family Field, is out in right field. So I'm right next to the parking lot where I sit. So I'm like, boom, right out the door, easy in, easy out. Leaving the game was great. Like, didn't have to deal with any traffic. And fortunately, I didn't have to ride in any escalators that malfunctioned and sent several people to the hospital. I was laying on the couch last night. I'm like, holy shit. My wife's like, what? I'm like, an escalator broke down at the game today. Sent a whole bunch of people to the hospital. That's terrible. So got into the game. Got my seat. I get to watch Justin Steele, do his warm-ups. I've never sat next to the bullpen, like that close to the bullpen for a big league game. I have a couple times at like Peoria Chiefs games, minor league games, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was really paying attention to like just how bullpens work. And man, being a relief pitcher looks like a pretty fun job until you give up a run and everybody blasts you on social media. Heart attack, Hector, you suck. I love heckling, but it's different when it's not your team or when it is your team getting heckled. So I'm in right by the bullpen. This is before the game, and the relievers are now in the bullpen. And of course, there's a ton of Cubs fans at the game, but there were a few at their park. There were a few Brewers fans in my section. There was this hillbilly behind me. And I say that because he looked like Cletus, the slack-jawed yokel from The Simpsons. Like, no lie. Like, I even looked up a picture because I sent to my Cubs chat group. I'm like, this hillbilly behind me, this is what he looks like. And I look like, when I Googled the image for Cletus from The Simpsons, I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's a closer look than I thought. So Cletus behind me goes, hey, Hector. And Hector Neris in the bullpen looks up. He goes, yeah. And Hector Neris is like, he was interacting with fans in my section. He signed a baseball and had like all the relievers sign it for a kid in our section. And so this Cletus, the slack-jawed yokel guy sitting behind me, hey, Hector. And he's like, yeah, what's up? He's like, how come you have a 7.45 ERA? And Hector's like, what? And he's like, yeah, you have a 7.45 ERA and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, who cares? And this slack-jawed yokel. And he was giving Neris shit. Neris got the save, so fuck you, Cletus. I just wanted to turn around. Dude, shut the fuck up. But you know what? When I'm in the bleachers at Wrigley Field and there's hecklers heckling the right fielder, it's funny. But when it's my team, when those are my guys, my Cubs guys, you want to defend them. Like, don't fucking heckle my Cubs. We'll heckle Sal Frelick over here in right field. Wait, I'm in the left field bleachers at Wrigley. I'm like, wait a second. I'm in right field at Milwaukee today. Okay, so at Wrigley, it's the left field where I'm usually at. You can heckle the left fielder. So, and then there was a guy next to me, of course, also a Brewers fan. They were the only two Brewers fans in my section. It's bleacher seating, so it's tight quarters. And this guy, he was the Peter Griffin of Brewers fans. Like, at any time I was about ready to hear him break out, Peter Griffin next to me. All right. And I can do the Peter Griffin laugh, but I can't do a Peter Griffin. But all right. Like every time. All right. And then if there'd be a can of corn, like, fuck Peter Griffin. And he'd yeah, on a strikeout. It's like, okay, chill. Like, I get it. You're pumped up. It's 1 out. It's a strikeout. That's the first out of the inning. Like let's chill out. So I think I was a little more annoyed because it was kind of a late plan. And it's like, I've got shit to do at home. Let's get in, let's get out. So I did get to talk to Ethan for a couple minutes. Kind of hard to hear because the bullpen obviously is down below. There's music playing. So we did get to chat before the game and after the game real quick. So great to see him back in the big leagues. First time I've seen him at a Cubs game, like a major league game, because I don't go to games in April. And when he was his first stint with the team, he broke camp and started the season with the big league roster. And I don't go to April games at Wrigley Field. It's too damn cold. I think I hate Miller Park, American Family Field. From like a weather perspective. It's a great stadium. Don't get me wrong. It's a great stadium. I love the tailgating aspect. It does have a roof, but that's where the problem is. It's like stuffy. It's really stuffy in there. There's not much airflow. I remember there was a game I went to. It was a Cubs Brewers game, and I was in the front row, like right behind, between home plate and the Cubs dugout. And it was like 65 degrees. It was a late, like a September game. But it had been like the week prior, it had been like 90 degrees with humidity. And then we finally got this break. So it was chilly outside. So I wore jeans and a light long sleeve shirt. And I'm like, it might get cold. No, it was hotter than hell because it's stuffy. They had the roof up. So that, like, all the humidity from the week before is like still inside. It's just stuck with no airflow. It was miserable because there's like little lack of airflow. So that was my day. Came back, did some more shipping last night. Did anybody else have issues with eBay shipping labels? This would have been last night. I wasn't paid. I was like very impatient. I ended up slapping a stamp on one. It's like, I gotta get these out. And I thought it might have been just like a isolated. It wasn't Puerto Rico. It was a regular U.S. address. One of the 50 states, I should say. And then the second one I went to do got the same. I'm like, okay, there's something wrong with the shipping labels. So, like, great timing as I'm trying to hustle these out, because I'm gonna put my eBay store in vacation mode at like noon today because I've got a lot of shit to do. It's like, all right, if you don't get your orders in by noon, you're not getting your cards until the end of the month. So I'll get hammer some shipping out here this morning. And then I've got to run some errands. I want to do some weeding down by the pond. I went down by the pond. I wanted to check my garden and just kind of see what needed to be done today. Need to get more bird feed today. Need to go get some groceries. I've got a couple pickling cucumbers that if I probably would pick them and do a batch of pickles, but I don't think I'm gonna have time to make it eat pickles tonight. It'd be like one jar. I think there's 4 that I can pick. So I'll just have to tell my mom to pick some pickles. All right, let's go to the chat. What's going on? That was my day. Cubs win. By the way, I am 2-0. The Cubs are 2-0 when I'm at a game. So 2-0, they're below 500 when I'm not at the game. I guess I should go to more games. It was looking dicey there, though. There's one innings where it's like the bad news Bears were out fielding for the Cubs. Mikey's in the house. Good morning. You are welcome. I'm going to miss you. I won't go live, but I will. Maybe I will put. I won't go live, but maybe I'll do some video. Like just, it's like the new generation of slides. When you come back from vacation, you have your friends over and show them slides. Like, thank God. Like sometimes I wish I was in a previous generation. I wish we were living in a previous generation. But thank God we don't have to go to our friend's house and watch them with the reel-to-reel vacation slides. I think I remember one time going to like my great aunt's house and they were showing off slides of like a vacation to Hawaii. And it's like, and like, it's even worse when you're a kid, when you're like 7 and you're looking at vacation photos. Like, this sucks. Well, it sucks when you're 40 also, looking at people's. Here, I want to show you all these pictures. Okay, cool. Can you just put them on Facebook and I'll look at them at my own leisure? Herman's in the house. What's going on? Good morning. Kyle, what's happening? Happy Sunday morning to you. Super sexy cardboard. What's going on? Good morning. Donald's in the house. The wife and I are cooking breakfast for the campers at the campground. Nice. Kyle says, any sign of NASCAR? Yes. So there's not like, it's not bulk, but I did find like, I don't know, a couple hundred cards. And then there's like a little box set, you know, and of course it's all like the junkiest of the junk wax, 1991 tracks. So, but I've pulled out how many boxes? I've pulled out 4 or 5, and I can't say shoe boxes because there's literally shoe boxes in the Goodwill pallet. These are like the baseball card shoe boxes, the 2-row boxes, we'll call them. There were 4 or 5 2-row boxes that I've looked through. The box that was just cards that were on top. And I think that's it. Like my car is still full of the Goodwill pallet. So, and then the 93 SP. Did I mention this yesterday? So I don't think I did. So was going through I haven't gone through anything really since I picked it up. But I was watching the latest hobby think tank with Junk Wax Hero or I can't remember if it's Junk Wax Hero because there's multiple. There's Wax Pack Hero. That's Mike Summer. Then there's Junk Wax Hero. And then there's Junk Wax Heroes. So one of them, not Mike Summer, one of the either Hero or Heroes is on Hobby Think Tank with John Keating this week. And Junk Wax Heroes or Hero had picked up a Junk Wax collection, like 100,000 card Junk Wax collection. But it sounded like there was like more than just Junk Wax. Like when he first said that, I'm picturing 86 to 94. Like just I'm picturing a lot of yellow 91 Fleer. I'm picturing 90 Donruss. But he mentioned there was like some 2005 and 2008 stuff. So I'm like, okay, so that's no longer Junk Wax. But then he had brought up, like, you know, when we're looking at Junk Wax, we're always looking for 93 SP for the Derek Jeter rookie. So as I was unloading the Goodwill pallet the other day, there was a box marked 1993 SP. I didn't open it up. I just put it in the back of my car. I'm watching that video Friday, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I have that 93 SP box. So I went, grabbed it, opened it. I'm going through. There's some stars in there. All of a sudden, I get to a couple top loaders. Guess what's top loaded? Mr. Derek Jeter. So I think I will submit that. I'm looking at prices on eBay, and I think it's definitely I hate using the term gradable cards because every single card is gradable. This actually, oh, that's a modern card. Let me find a beater. Because even beaters are gradable. Just might get a 1 or an authentic. I thought I had like a creased card in here, but maybe not. But every card is gradable. But this looks like it could be worthy. Because even 6s on the Jeter SP go for a good amount of money. So now I know I'd be spending, I think $19 was the PSA, is like the slow or the lowest version. For my vintage, for like my Peyton and Dr. J, for that stuff, I upgraded to the $40 per card. Because I'm itching to get it back. Plus, I only had $1 into those cards. I submitted 5 cards and I paid $3.20 because 2 of the cards came in the bulk purchase where I paid less than a dime each for those cards. I think I paid 8 cents. So $3.16. So I'll splurge. And the Dr. J and the Peyton, worth it. Take a gamble on the Verlander. And then the Nolan Ryan and George Brett, we'll see. So I think I'm going to submit the Jeter at the July 20th card show. Let me flash. I don't want to flash my eBay because I want to get stuff shipped. I don't really want to sell today. I want to ship. Let's do the next Madison Card Show. So I am considering. Expanding again. I had mentioned this before where I had considered, I've turned so many Pokemon and TCG dealers away because I want to keep it at kind of a like a 20% Pokemon ratio at the show. And I'm like, well, maybe if you bring your own table and you're in like a breakout room, I scoped out the breakout rooms. There's a decent size where I could get 20 tables in one of the breakout rooms. I would make up signage so it's clear, do a little more signage throughout the show so everybody knows, hey, there's 4 rooms. Make sure you get to all of them. So I reached out to the Sheraton, inquired about pricing and just confirm on square footage for the rooms that are available. And that's another reason why I wanted to want to do some Madison Card Show work. I just want to make sure I got to bring, now that I mention it, I just want to have these maps so I can map. My scanning, did poor scanning. So I can map out, since the show is July 20th, I won't have much turnaround time upon my return. Where's the main room? I shouldn't say main room, I should say upstairs room. Do I have? So that's Williamson here, State. Oh, and I need the 4th layout. So I would have 5 layouts. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. So this is how just a little peek behind the curtain of the Madison Card Show. So basically, this is a blank slate. This is the upstairs Capitol Ballroom. And then this is the State Street. Now, the State Street, I usually fit a few more tables than what's shown on there. Same with some of these other rooms. Williamson Ballroom and the mezzanine. So that is how I lay out the show each month. So thinking about opening up a 4th room that would be Pokemon TCG only, bring your own table. There's high demand. This will be a sellout show, 175 tables on July 20th. And we could hit 20 tables. So Where we at? Low Roller Scratcher says Lucerne will be raining Monday to Wednesday and Saturday and Sunday. Bummer, dude. Orlando, what's going on? Good morning. Let's see. Mikey says, watch The Other Women. Watch The Other Women. Is that a movie? Or are you just talking about creeping? I don't know if my wife would go for that. What are you watching? Oh, the other ladies on the plane. Johnny M, good morning. Time for new iPad. I get a new iPhone every year. Got to spend those eBay profits, then sell the old one on Facebook for 80% cash. Sale of the buy price. So I don't use my iPad. I don't like using my iPad. My phone's big enough that I don't need to, like when I'm on the couch, I don't need the iPad. I am not an iPad user. I use my iPad on flights only. And as long as Amazon Prime keeps working, my wife's like, why don't you use Netflix? And I'm like, because it doesn't work on my iPad because it's that old. It's that old. It says you have to download an update, but you have to plug it into a computer is how old it is. Like, what? So I just say, fuck it. Herman says, you can use the money you saved from your KFC coupons you learned how to cut out with scissors. Aha. Mikey says, third time's the charm. Buff stream. Mikey says, what are all you doing in Switzerland? And are you going to, Switzerland? And are you going to update us in the Facebook group? Yeah, I can post some pictures. It's just a vacation. We're going to do food tours, sightseeing tours, just random stuff like that. We don't hike. So there's a game, like one of the sports of Switzerland. I think it's to Switzerland what bowling is to America, where there's probably professional leagues, but mostly it's just pretty casual, like get drunk at the bowling alley type deal. It's called Hornison. It's a really weird sport. Hornison. It's Hornussen, excuse me. And we're going with another couple, friends of ours. And so the other guy, his name's Brandon. I messaged Brandon. I'm like, check this sport out. He's like, dude, that looks awesome. We're going to have to play. And I told my wife, and she's like, oh, no. You are not playing any sports in a foreign country. Let's see. Low Roller says to Herman, you see my new toilet paper video today. Oh, there's a new toilet paper video out. Bink Scott says, thanks for the Wilt and Dawkins. Hey, thank you. Bink Scott's first basketball card since 1993. That is awesome. When I started buying like bulk collections, I was big into basketball around that same time. 92, 93, that season is when I really got into basketball. Of course, Shaq was what brought me into basketball. And I stuck around for about 3 years. I think 95, 96 was my last year. Like when Kobe was drafted, of course, I stopped collecting right before Kobe, but I don't care because I didn't keep any of those cards. So if I would have had Kobe rookies, I would have just sold them for pennies on the dollar when I was 16. So no harm, no foul. But I did. And when I got out of basketball cards, one of my relatives was a cousin my age, was into basketball cards. And so I think I sold him. I had a binder of like all my good cards, my Shaqs, my Alonzo Mournings, my Grant Hill and Jason Kidd rookies, all that stuff, which is worthless now. I probably made more in 1995 than what they would sell for today. And I used that money to buy wrestling magazines because that was my next collecting adventure, wrestling magazines in the mid to late 90s. Dan's in the house. Oh, so I want to finish my story. So when I got back into buying collections 10 years ago or so, 10, 12 years ago, I'm finding like these 90s basketball cards, and it brought all these memories back of how much I loved these 90s basketball cards back in junior high. Like, man, these are awesome. Why did I stop collecting basketball cards? Dan's in the house. What's going on? Good evening to you. Mikey says, did Ethan come up to talk to you? He sure did. He sure did. Good evening, Dan, says Herman. He says hi back. BB Baseball Cards in the house. Good morning. Good morning, Gundy. What's going on? Cubs win. Cubs win. Thank God. Thank God. Johnny M says, my 7-month pregnant daughter and her group of 10 went to the Mets game yesterday. They got escorted out for being too rowdy. Yes, she does take after me. Been kicked out for fighting when I was young. That's awesome. Well, kind of awesome, I guess. Kicked out for being too rowdy. That's funny. Apparently, I sold some water polo cards in my eBay store. Thanks for the update. I have... Why should I be taking my laptop on vacation? I've got Low Roller Scratcher to provide me updates on my sales. BP, what's up? Have a good trip. Thank you. Should be good. You can buy sports cards in Switzerland if they have card shows in Switzerland. I don't think they do. You can make a video about it. I would if they did. I highly doubt they have sports cards in Switzerland. And they're not going to have Switzerland not really known. I wonder, let's just look up, what are some famous pro athletes from Switzerland? Pro athletes. I bet they're like all Winter Olympics athletes. Ranker has a list. Well, Roger Federer is Swiss. And it goes downhill after that. Fabian Cancellara. Apparently he's a cyclist. Martina Hingis. So tennis is big. Mladen Petric. He's a footballer. Olivia Knobs. Snowboard cross racing. Evelyn Liu. Stanislaus Wawrinka, another tennis. Martina Kocher, luge. Tanya Frieden, snowboarding. Laura Runke, figure skating. Serena Boner, great name. Cross-country skiing. Jan Schmid, skier. Mirjam Ott, looks like he's a curler. So, tennis and ice games. Anything on ice is big in Switzerland. I'm not seeing any American football. I'm not seeing any baseball. I'm not even seeing any hockey, which surprised there's no ice. Oh, there's one. Stephanie Marty, female ice hockey. Nicole Bulow, I think she's female ice hockey. Oh, hey, we have a basketball player. Thabo Cephalosha was born in Switzerland. He is Swiss South African. Oh, from the New York Islanders, Mark Streit. I think that's, I knew, same spelling. I knew somebody with that name was pronounced Streit. So don't at me. So, okay, couple people. I think Roger Federer, probably the most famous on that list. All right, moving on. Bargain Boxer went to a card shop yesterday in Kentucky. No place I won't go for cardboard. Cooter's here. Good morning. Still have all my parents' slides. Oh, my God. Now we have to see. There we go. It said my mic's muted, but I hit it. That time, it actually came up and said mic is muted. I think the last time I didn't get that message. That's how I knew. Make sure this mic is muted. Not muted. All right. Good morning. Cooter still has his parents' slides. Now we have to see everyone's slides every day on social media. No, I don't care what your breakfast looked like. That is a good point, but I like today's social media slides much better because I can scroll on by. If you get invited to dinner to Aunt Ethel's and Aunt Ethel and Uncle Red want to show you slides from their trip to Hawaii, you can't leave. Like, you have to oh, nice. Oh, that's beautiful. And then if you ask questions, you're going to be there longer. That's why I never ask questions. Never ask questions. That's it. And I was in media for 12 years. Never ask questions unless it's your job. Uncle Rich, good morning. Thank you. Uncle Rich, his Topps card sold for $89 plus shipping on eBay yesterday. I did put a bid in. I went to 20 and got smoked. $89 for an Uncle Rich Klein official Topps card from what, 1992, I think? 93 maybe? Bargain Boxer says, my LCS bought a complete set collection of every set of baseball, 70 to 2015, every football set, 70 to 2015. They paid $3,500, filled 3 small SUVs. Did they rip the person off? I think that sounds like did they rip the person off? No, because the person didn't have to sell it. Now, there's some caveats to this. I'm always on. So I'm very like, you can talk me in or out of this argument. If you're ever selling something, you need to do your due diligence. Never, if you don't know anything about these sets of cards, and you just go to your local card shop and he says, I'll buy it all for $3,500. But maybe it's worth $10,000. Maybe somebody else will buy it for $10,000. And I probably not. I don't know. I don't know what a fair price would be. You'd have to price it all out. But anyway, you got to do your due diligence. Now, on the other side, if they're happy with $3,500, then no harm, no foul. But if you're selling something, you have to be aware, and I understand you may not know, but we have something called the internet these days. And you can look stuff up and, like, let's just Google. Let's just Google, and we'll go to the oldest set, 1970 Topps football. What is 1970 Topps baseball complete set worth? That's all you have to do. Google. All right. So now we're going to have to go through. Now, I understand. I know a little bit more about somebody that doesn't know anything about it. But you can go to eBay. 1970. Oh, here's Amazon. People may not know about eBay. Amazon. Well, there's a 1970 Topps complete set on Amazon for $3,500. All right. So it's like, well, maybe I'm getting ripped off. But let's go to, here's one on eBay. $3,200. So now I'm thinking $3,500. And that took me, 30 seconds to look that up. So did the LCS rip them off? No, because they didn't have to sell them that set. An LCS should pay a fair price, but they also have to keep the lights on. And how liquid now, that would be, you could get your $3,500 back pretty damn quickly, depending on, I don't know how they grade out. If they're all beaters, then it's going to be a lot harder to sell those. Did they rip the person off? No, because the person sold them and the person had the ability to look that up. Look, it took me 30 seconds, even as trying to get into the brain of somebody that doesn't know cards. Hey, let's look at Amazon. The next thing is eBay. And we're looking at the 1970 Topps baseball set. The list price. Now, does that mean that's what it sold for? No, but usually that's what people that don't know about cards, they're not going to look at eBay sold listings. I know people in cards that are casual, that they're like, how do you know what things are worth? And I'm like, well, like, I've done it long enough. I just know what a lot of stuff is, approximate value. But if not, I just go to eBay sold. And they're like, oh, what's eBay sold? And I'm like, well, just look up what it's sold for, because you can list anything on eBay for any price you want. You can list this 1975 Topps Randy Jones for $3,500. Doesn't mean that's what it's worth. But that's an age-old debate, and we can all argue back and forth on, oh, that's a ripoff, blah, 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 blah. But if you're ever selling any item, we're all into cards. If we're selling coins and we don't know anything about, I don't know shit about coins, I'm going to do my due diligence looking stuff up and, maybe throw something on social media And if you have 17 people climb into your DMs, I'll buy that. You know, you probably have something. A little common sense goes a long way when it comes to selling anything, not just cards. Let's see. Where are we at? Mikey says The Other Woman is a movie with Kate Upton. Oh. I think I have seen that movie. Kate Upton? Yeah, I've seen that movie. 99-cent card. CA says, had a similar vintage find like yours yesterday. Congrats. Not a large, but 4 yellowed 4-row boxes of 70 to 78 O-Pee-Chee baseball with all the key rookies and stars for pennies per card. Oh, man, that's awesome. Congratulations. That is amazing. Herman says, you would think the Mets would want to keep any fans willing to come to the games. Well, now they're winning. Now the Mets are winning. Maybe not. Red Light, what's going on? Good morning. Herman says they have a great curling team. Johnny M says, have a great vacation. Guess I'll just watch LRS videos while you're gone. You can learn about toilet paper and cutting out coupons. Check it out. Low Roller Scratcher. Jody, good morning. Red Light says, do you still have them 1,300 count boxes in your store? I don't know. They might, I might, because I think I only put 25 in. I didn't think they'd sell this fast. But I'll put more in after I get back. I don't want to put any more of those together today. If Kate Upton is the other woman, Justin Verlander would not be a real happy person. No, he wouldn't. Rob, what's going on? Good morning. Thank you. I appreciate it. Kyle says, good news on the Trax cards. Hopefully that NASCAR shelf fills up again eventually. It will. I don't know when, but right now there's just like a couple small boxes and maybe a stack plus what I found out of this. Dan says coupons. It's like a Q-tip. Coupons and Q-tips. So that's what I had for today. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Again, we'll not be back we'll not go live on Hobby Evolution again until July 15th. Maybe I could teach my mom. My mom and her friend are coming in. Teach my mom. Okay, so here's what you do. Just hit the live button, talk into the microphone, and just tell them what you ate for dinner last night. Tell them how you're enjoying your stay. So mom will be in today, house sitting, dog sitting. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't visit my eBay store. I'm going on vacation. If you do, your items won't ship until I get back. I got to get that vacation mode setting going. I might just throw that on now just so I don't have to ship any more than what I have. Thank you, Bronco. Mikey says, you have an order from me to ship. I just placed it. Okay. Your order will ship. What else? Madison Card Show coming up July 20th. We'll have at minimum 175 dealer tables in 3 ballrooms, potentially expanding. We'll see. Obviously, since I'm going to be out of the country, I'm still going to try to get as much done possible and maybe expand into that 4th room. I think that's about all. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. My next show, I do know we're leaving at 7. We have to leave at 7 a.m. My wife's like, we're leaving in the morning. And I'm like, yeah, what time? What time are we leaving? And she's like, I don't know. Like, okay, good. And so she looks it up and she's like, so our flight's at 11:30 out of O'Hare. So she's like, we need to be there 2 hours before since it's international. So that's 9:30. And I'm like, so we need to leave at about 7. And she's like, no. She's like, it only takes 2 hours to get to the airport. And I'm like, well, we've got to park and get to the airport from the parking lot, wherever we're parking. And she's like, oh, yeah. She's like, oh, we're going to have to leave at 7. My wife is not a morning person. Like, she will sleep until like today, probably till 10:30. Well, maybe not today because we leave tomorrow, but usually she sleeps in late, especially on weekends. Usually she's up by 9:30 on weekdays. Anyway, so we've got to leave at 7 tomorrow morning. So I'm not sure when we get back. I know we get back on July 13th. I think we fly back on July 13th. So the 14th, I'm going to be tired. So I'll go live on July 15th. A couple last comments here. Thank you, Herman. Good morning, Mark. Thank you, Gundy. Mikey bought the Dan Issel rookie. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mark says, get your settings on now. Otherwise, there will be stuff that needs shipping. I still have. I think I have. Let me refresh my eBay store. Usually that's what I do, but it's like, I've got all day. But my mom is coming in this afternoon, and I've got a lot of shit that I've got to get done. So, fuck. I have 96 orders to ship still. So, but that'll only take me 2 hours. Thank you, Mikey. Kyle says, we'll miss Hobby Evolution, so will I. Herman says, I'm not flying out of Madison. No, because it's a pain. And if we would fly out of here's the issue. Normally we would. The issue is, since it's international, we would have to we would basically have to fly to Chicago I think we're flying into Newark. Like there wasn't any direct flights to Switzerland out of O'Hare, which is strange, really strange. At least that matched our itinerary that we could work. So if we flew out of Madison, we would have to fly from Madison to Chicago to Newark to Switzerland. So this way we just have to fly Chicago, Newark, Switzerland. So that's why we're not flying out of Madison. But normally we would, because I think when we went to Italy, we flew from Madison to Atlanta to Rome. I can't remember our Amsterdam trip. I think it was similar. I think it was Madison, Atlanta, Amsterdam. Amsterdam. Orlando says, have fun on vacation. Take pictures. We will, certainly. And I'll post some on Twitter and Facebook as well. All righty. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful 2 weeks. Enjoy the start of your July. We'll be back at it on July 15th. And don't forget the Madison Card Show, July 20th. We'll see you in a couple weeks.